Yeah, Ryan Walters currently faces a lawsuit over his mandate for public schools to incorporate the Bible because it should be illegal.
Look, I've continued to hear the gaslighting from the left.
Gaslighting. If there is one fucking word I would choose to wipe from Trump's lexicon, because nobody, none of these fuckers used the word gaslighting until Trump discovered it. And not like discovered it, the rest of the world knew what it was, but like introduced it to them. And they're like, oh yeah, no, we can just say anything is gaslighting. Like, and it just became the thing they all say whenever they're criticized. Say, stop gaslighting me.
Even from this network, pushing lies about what's going on across America. President Trump has a clear mandate.
Okay, I was just about to say, God bless, if there is whatever religion you pray to, bless this news host. Just watch her face as she is trying, because I'm like, oh girl, you and me, we're the same. We're like linked, because this would be exactly me if somebody like this came on and started talking this shit. Like, from a just 1,000-yard stare, listening to him blather, to not being able to keep her reaction down. Watch this opening part again.
And from this network, pushing lies about what's going on across America. President Trump has a clear mandate. He wants prayer back in school. He wants radical leftism out of the classroom. Wants our kids to be patriotic. Want parents back in charge with school choice.
I love that for you.
I'm not going to take the bait on what you said about gaslighting from this network on this. I'm asking you a specific question. Where is your authority specifically coming from?
I appreciate you pushing that left-wing narrative here, but here's...
Dude, dumbass, she's asking you a very simple question. Oh my God, no wonder this dipshit gets along so well with Haya Reichik. He can't even focus on what's being asked of him. How? If you want to know why American education is lagging so far behind, it's because of people like this.
The reality.
It's not a left-wing narrative. I'm literally talking about a petition that parents have signed that's gotten more than 14,000 signatures that have raised this issue.
It's pretty clear on religious liberty. Look, CNN doesn't have to like it. Left-wing activists don't have to like it.
I'm just talking about facts.
Again, like, wow. Yeah, Oklahoma is 49th in education. That is a very fun statistic that's been going around. He really just does not want to fucking even approach the subject with her. That's crazy. She is saying, like, no, I'm asking you about these real things, these petitions. And he's like, I'm not here to talk about the like, he has studied. Credit where it's due. He has studied the way of Haya Reichik. He was studying the blade.
It's not my opinion.
Document. The Bible is a historical document. You can't rewrite history, okay?
That is not... Oh, the Bible is a historical document. You are not studying it in a historical context, dipshit. You are not saying, hey, we're going to have a history of the Bible class. We're going to talk about how it relates to laws that were written, how it relates to the struggles in the Middle East. Because if you were actually going to have a class on the history of religion, you would have to cover Judaism and Islam as well. You would have to talk about how the Bible was written, how it was passed down, how it was translated. That would actually be fascinating and useful information. But actually knowing those things and informing a up-and-coming populace on those things wouldn't fit your Christian narratives. That, like, oh, the Bible is our uniform document for all of morality and everything in it is absolutely true. In fact, actually having to study the history behind the Bible, how it was written, how it was translated, how it was passed down, the stories before the Bible that inspired it, the things it took from other cultures, actually studying all of that shit would probably create less enthusiastic voters for Bible-based initiatives. It would have less people just mindlessly believing whatever you tell them just because it's in the Bible, because it's what God wants. So don't fucking pull this, the Bible is a historical document shit, because you want to talk about gaslighting, you know that is not the way you're trying to teach it. You know that. Jesus. Literally. Parents, clergy members, teachers, and others filed lawsuit with the Oklahoma Supreme Court over the education mandate last month. Sometimes you can really look at somebody and get a feel for how much control they've ever felt in their life and how badly they've wanted to feel like they had more control. You just get it. It's the same sense I get from Matt Walsh, I think. Where it is just somebody who doesn't like the way other people are, and instead of just trying to coexist or understand anybody else, wants to just force everything. Fits perfectly with their conservative agenda. Have you heard of the Babel hypothesis of cult brainwashing? The more you talk and the faster you talk, the more you can force people to mentally submit to you in an environment where you can't be interrupted. This guy just wants to babble at children. Yeah, I mean, like, that is gish galloping. That is alongside gish galloping, and that is a major part of why people buy into narratives from people like Alex Jones, narratives from people like Donald Trump. The idea, it came, you know, a little bit more to lighter. It was brought up by a number of people during Trump's first election when he was talking about the cult of personality around Donald Trump. But the similarities between actual cult training and the kind of radicalism and fervency that the MAGA movement encourages, they're very similar. Very similar. Sent an email to public school superintendents requiring them to show students his video announcement of a new Department of Religious Freedom and Patriotism within the State Department of Education. Jesus fucking Christ. This is some real fucking Hitler Youth shit. Like, this has gone, granted, a lot of stuff has been going on. There's a lot of stuff happening. So I'm not too surprised that it's getting somewhat overlooked in the grand scheme of things. But more people really need to have eyes on this shit, because this is untenable. This is unacceptable. And it is setting a incredibly dangerous precedent for the future. Where, like, Trump isn't even in command yet. This is setting a terrible precedent. In the video, Walter says religious liberty has been attacked and patriotism mocked by woke teachers' unions. Then pray, dog, dude, is there any way, you're a school superintendent. Is there any way for somebody to make a quicker enemy of the people working around you than to insult teachers' unions? What? In announcing the new department, Walters said it would oversee the investigation of abuses to individual religious freedom or displays of patriotism. Not like important shit that's actually happening. I love this. Two of the state's largest districts, Edmond in suburban Oklahoma City and Bixby in suburban Tulsa, said they have no plans to show the students the video. I love the idea of, oh, here we go. Did not immediately return a phone call for comment. Said the district officials would meet to discuss the email. Not only is this edict unenforceable, it is contrary to parents' rights, local control, and individual free exercise rights. I fucking love that. See thankfully, thankfully, checks and balances are working for now. But what happens when some dipshit like Linda McMahon is put in charge of sweeping changes? What happens when some dipshit like Walters is put in charge of sweeping changes that says anybody who doesn't want to show videos like this, well, you're obviously an anti-patriotic leftist, and we can't have that in our educational system. Like, we already know Project 2025 has plans to deal with safeguards like this. Oklahoma Appleseed Gross Misconduct, a comprehensive compilation of Ryan Walters' misdeeds in office. Let's go. By David Blatt, PhD. November 2022, Republican candidate Ryan Walters, former high school social studies teacher from McAlester, Oklahoma, who had been appointed by Governor Ken Stitt in 2020 to serve as Secretary of Education, was elected state superintendent of instruction, receiving 56 of the statewide vote to defeat Democratic challenger Jenna Nelson. Since taking office, he has been the center of a seemingly endless string of controversies for his propensity for making inflammatory and derogatory statements, sparked extensive media coverage, widespread condemnation, as well as calls for impeachment and a rash of lawsuits, audits, and investigations. However, so far, efforts have only had limited success. Organizing to fight. Damn, I'm looking at the cursor scrolling. David, you did good work. This is that kind of autism shit I'm on. Each section identifies and summarizes numerous examples, including links to selected media coverage and, where possible, primary materials. Damn. David. Oh. That's good shit. Oh, with links and man. You know David's doing it up nice for us. You know what? It makes sense that this guy is all about Trump, because he has a lot fucking in common. Just thinking he can kind of fucking do anything. Failing to allocate maternity leave funding, failing to allocate asthma funding, failing to allocate funding for teacher pay raise. So he doesn't give a fuck about all this shit, about teacher safety, security, well-being of students, but wants to have inquiries and investigations into religious freedom in public schools. Like, straight up, there are so many safeguards in place in terms of like not being able to accomplish a radicalized agenda. Not nearly enough in place to just stop people from spreading this bullshit. To stop people from working against the interests of the job that they're supposed to be upholding, the people they're supposed to be helping. Revoked the teaching license of Summer Boismere. Shared a QR code encouraging them to read banned books. Based? Banned the teaching of certain race and gender-related topics. Said she is too liberal to teach in Oklahoma. Too liberal to teach in Oklahoma. Somebody saying that for a job should be fired on the fucking spot. Saying that you are too political. I don't agree with your political philosophy. You can't teach in this state. Revoking teaching certificate of Relin Kilaki, 20 veteran high school teacher, after it was tipped off about a picture Kilaki had posted to his personal Instagram page 5 years earlier of his children pretending to stab another one wearing a Trump mask. Allison Scott, Facebook post in the immediate aftermath of the assassination attempt that stated, "Wish they had a better scope." Refusal to recognize court-appointed student gender changes. Walters has said there's not multiple genders, there's two. That's how God created us. Again, the idea that somebody in a elected position can say, oh, well, that's how God made us, so this is how I'm ruling policy. Fuck you. Get fucked. Fucking leave. Efforts to require schools to teach the Bible sent a directive stating that schools in the state will be required to incorporate the Bible, required to have a physical copy of the Bible, the U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and 10 Commandments. This is a great example of what I was talking about in the CPAC video, where it is now more than ever so apparent how the American and conservative right have essentially codified American nationalism as Christianity. How America might as well be part of the Bible. They see it as sanctified by God himself. And it is fucking terrifying. Like, it is on some like Bioshock Infinite level shit. Hold rogue administrators accountable, alleging that these districts want pornography in front of kids under the name of inclusivity, but don't want. So that's his Gish Gallop. That's his game. Is that anytime somebody's like, hey, fucking no, he's like, oh, you just want to sell porn to kids. It's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? You unhinged little whack job. 3 million legislative appropriation to purchase copies of the New King James Bible. I'm very uncomfortable with the idea, with any idea or kind of proselytizing or establishing a state religion or showing favoritism to one religion over the other. Walters has also stated the agency has set aside $3 million of its own funds to pay for Bibles, but the source of this additional funding is unclear. How much do we want to bet when all this simmers down, it's going to be like, no, he was definitely like embezzling to pay for fucking Bibles. Also, $3 million is a lot of fucking Bibles. Bibles are not expensive. 55,000 copies. With a set of specifications including inclusion of American historical documents and leather material that excluded all Bibles except 2 endorsed by former President Trump. Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA Bible and the We the People Bible. Fuck, man. Oh my God. It's just brain melting. Walters sent a letter to Kamala Harris demanding that Oklahoma be reimbursed almost $500 million, which he claimed to be the cost of illegal immigration on Oklahoma schools. Jesus Christ. Sent a memo to Oklahoma parents calling for the abolition of the U.S. Department of Education. The memo included immigration as one of 5 areas where states would benefit from the elimination of the USDE, claiming that free from federal overreach, states could manage the impact of national immigration policies in a way that protect classrooms and prioritize their classrooms. That's a quote, and it's like, again, it's just one of those things that shows, like, protect and prioritize their classrooms. And it shows just how I'm willing to bet he's probably barely literate. Imposing new social studies standards. Again, July 2024, how have more people, and this goes for me too, because I feel like all of these stories have just stacked up over time. But more people really need to be paying attention to this, because he is basically laying out right now the ground rules, the groundwork for what Trump wants to accomplish in the coming years. Or what Project 2025, what the people behind it, the Heritage Foundation, the people in charge of the Department of Education, will want to accomplish as far as creating a new nationalist, Christian nationalist infrastructure for education. Not focusing on, hey, let's actually get our test scores up and make sure that kids are equipped for the world and equipped to think their way through life. No, we need them as stupid and placated as possible and fearing Sky Daddy. Walters announced a complete overhaul of the state's social studies standards under an executive review committee involving national, conservative, and religious figures, including Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts, Steve Deese, dipshit behind Nefarious, by the way, PragerU founder Dennis Prager, and others. The new standards will include the incorporation of the Bible as an instructional resource, as well as renewed emphasis on having a standard more congruent with a classical learning model. What the fuck does that mean? Focuses on history, not indoctrination. You don't actually want to teach history, though. You don't actually want to teach history. You don't want to teach the real history of America, because if you taught that history, again, if you actually taught the history of things like America and the Bible, the real history of what happened, what we have evidence of happening, people would walk away actually educated and actually understanding how despicably evil so many events have been throughout history. And how many of those evil events the American government, the founders, have had their hands in. And he wants to talk about other people fucking gaslighting. Get the fuck out. Encouraging students to pray for President-elect Trump. The week after Trump's re-election, Walters sent out an email to all Oklahoma schools containing a video that included Walters offering a prayer for Trump and attacking the radical left and teachers' unions. Again, how is this dude... Like, I feel like I'm going fucking insane here. The video encouraged, but did not require, students to join him in a prayer. Attorney General Gentner Drummond responded with a statement challenging Walters' actions, saying, not only is this edict unenforceable, we already read that. The email and video were the first actions taken by SDE's Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism, whose creation had been announced the day before. So he literally, the week after President Trump, he is literally taking that as a green light to just go through with his bizarre Christian nationalist vision for the world.
Your religious liberties will be protected. We've also seen patriotism mocked and a hatred for this country pushed by woke teachers' unions. We will not tolerate that in any school in Oklahoma. We want our students to be patriotic. We want our students to love this country. And we want all students' religious liberty to be protected. I will now say a prayer.
Jesus Christ. You cannot have them both. You cannot have kids unilaterally loving America and receiving a comprehensive education on the history of America. Actual history, as you put it. Real history. What actually happened. You just can't.
And to be clear, students, you don't have to join. But if you so wish, I'm going to go ahead and pray.
Comments are turned on.
Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you've given our country. I pray for our leaders to make the right decisions. I pray in particular for President Donald Trump and his team as they continue to bring about change to the country. I pray for our parents, teachers, and kids that they get the best education possible and live high-quality lives. I also pray that we continue to teach love of country to our young people and that our students understand what makes America great and that they continue to love this country. Amen.
Jesus Christ. He really thought he nailed that too. He sent that out to the whole state. He was like, yeah, nailed it. Everybody's going to love this. I know there's so many people in Oklahoma, in the Oklahoma Department of Education, that are just like, we need to fucking get this motherfucker out of here. This dude is fucking awful. Evil. Oh, shocker. Alleged campaign finance violations. Violated state ethics laws by failing to report campaign expenditures. Wow. Records show that Walters spent campaign funds in 2021 that were never reported to the Ethics Commission. He had hired several people to work on his campaign, though no payments to those individuals were reported. Ooh, boy. August 2023, he was ordered to pay $7,800 to the Oklahoma Ethics Commission. Why the fuck is he not fired after that? Misspending of federal pandemic funds. Charge of coordinating disbursement of nearly $40 million in federal pandemic funding. He was the CEO of nonprofit Every Kid Counts Oklahoma. 2 audits, one by state and one by federal government, found the money was mismanaged, with the state allowing money to be spent on such non-education items as kitchen appliances, power tools, televisions, and Christmas trees. But no, it's the left. It's the Democrats. Ooh, they're corrupt. Not this fucking cadre of Captain Planet supervillains that somehow keep bumblefucking their way to the top. These just absolute clown shoes dipshits who run the government now. Grand jury opted not to issue any indictments. Why not? Dish that shit out. Found that, quote, grossly negligent handling of federal grant money and utter lack of internal controls and oversight over the grant-funded initiatives to be irresponsible, disappointing, and indefensible. What's more, the waste and misspending of millions of dollars in emergency aid was easily preventable. Like, we have proof of these things happening. More than $4,000 in claims billed by Walters for out-of-state travel during his first year. They included travel reimbursements to attend the premiere of an anti-abortion horror film. I'm going to fucking lose it, chat. Are you fucking me right now? Are you fucking kidding me? Y'all can't see on the stream. Almost $500 to attend the premiere of the anti-abortion horror film Nefarious in Dallas. $1,100 to speak at the Gaylord National Resort in an event sponsored by the Heritage Foundation. That's where they had CPAC. I don't know if they had it in 2023. It might have been CPAC. Moms for Liberty Joyful Warriors Summit in Philadelphia. $500 for airfare for an appearance as the keynote speaker at the Freedom Foundation's Teachers for Freedom Summit. The event featured sessions such as teachers' unions, an international problem, and is woke curriculum taking over your subject? Oh, man. 2 meetings with representative conservative think tanks, but most of the trip was spent making media appearances, including talk shows affiliated with the far-right media outlet, the Epoch Times, which has ties to the Falun Gong. $2,600 for a trip with stops in Des Moines and then L.A. West Palm Beach, Florida, for another PragerU gala, where Walters posed for photos with the creator of Libs of TikTok. Like, the dude is just living high off the hog, trying to force everybody else to live by his stupid little nerd rules. What the fuck is wrong with you? Has signed multiple contracts with 2 PR companies to create content and promote media opportunities aimed primarily at boosting his national reputation and promoting his political agenda. The department had previously paid Procession over $22,000 to produce 30 minutes of videos, which included a 5-minute public awareness video attacking teachers' unions. The video was shown at a state board of education meeting, leading some teachers to tears and some parents to walk out. The company also produced a video that describes transgender students as a threat to school safety. This is on the official Oklahoma State Department of Education YouTube channel, protecting students from leftist social experiments by upholding the law. What is reality? A public service message. This was paid for with taxpayer
We've been really
money.
clear here that we're going to only allow boys to go in the boys' bathroom and girls to go in the girls' bathroom. And there's dangerous consequences when common sense is vacated. And we see a district here in the state where a boy was allowed to go into the girls' restroom and assaulted 2 young girls there.
Per the law, students have to use bathrooms that coincide with the sex written on their birth certificates.
And it is so fucking disingenuous. Granted, they're both minors at the time of the incident, so like whatever happened, and we'll probably never know the full details of it. But it is so fucking disingenuous to have 2 teenagers get in a fight, something that happens all the fucking time, with regular cis females. And to try and scaremonger about a little girl being assaulted in a bathroom. It is nothing but fucking propaganda all the way down. It is taking advantage of a actual situation, an actual fight to try and push not just narratives that all trans women are actually just men, that they're actually just aggressive, that they're actually just going to harass and hurt anybody.
Attacked her, started punching her, got her down to the ground.
And I'm sure, as with all fights in high school, I'm sure their kid did nothing to spur this on. This was just uncontrolled male aggression, I'm sure, that just spurred this on.
What would technically be called minor injuries.
Left my daughter unconscious on the floor and ran out of the bathroom.
When the student enrolled as a female and presented themselves as a female, and so have been accepted as a female.
It's not okay. I mean, that was a brutal attack on my daughter because they didn't follow their guidelines.
And when you look at that child by all social norms, they look and present themselves as that gender. It's not something that you would question. And you may ask yourself, how can that happen?
Attack on truth.
What we've
I
seen
hope
is
you've...
an assault on truth in our education system. And what we've seen is...
The guy who wants to teach children the Bible, who wants to alter and give a sugar-coated, down-home, red, white, and blue apple pie version of American history so that everybody thinks America has always just been a great little, amazing, just nothing but fireworks and roses country, wants to talk about other people having an assault on truth. Walters has also signed contracts with Vought Strategies. Isn't that the fucking thing from The Boys? A DC-based company with long-standing ties to Chief Policy Advisor Mark Langston and also Homelander, apparently. What the fuck, man? Section 5. We're still not at the end of this, by the way. Inflammatory and provocative statements and actions. Walters routinely couches his public comments as part of a war for the souls of our kids, where he's battling against an army of woke forces, teachers unions, the media, Democrats, and moderate Republicans, among others. Yeah, it's literally everybody else in the world who doesn't agree with me. I'm fighting against them. Normal brain. Whose agenda is to promote pornography and undermine Judeo-Christian teachings, traditions, and institutions. Challenging the separation of church and state, in 2023, Walters announced the formation of a faith-based committee to advise and recommend guidance to local school systems on how to protect every student and parent's freedom of worship. Claims the committee was inspired by a letter he received from religious and community readers. That absolutely did not happen. Adding a Western civilization course to high school graduation requirements. Maid John said, I'm not going to stand by as you bitches continue to indoctrinate and prey upon our children. This is why we placed a bomb in the school. You will evacuate the building so nobody dies. Like, really, just fucking... I mean, that perfectly encapsulates it, right? Like, we would rather try and... It was a hoax, like, obviously, but... We would rather threaten and fantasize about murdering kids than have them learn to be like accepting or understanding or actually learn some shit about the world and the people in it. Creating Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism. Serve to promote religious liberty and patriotism in Oklahoma and protect parents, students, and teachers' abilities to practice their religion freely in all aspects. When they say religion, somehow Somehow, Ryan, I don't think that extends to Muslims, Buddhists, Wiccans, Satanists. Somehow, I don't think that's going to fly. If this motherfucker gets any semblance of actual power, like, God help education in this country. Like, he is a fucking weaselly little monster. I despise him at a core level.